Hello and welcome to the Andrew Joseph PR curated webinar series for Aspire Design and Home magazine. An interesting fact, right before the world turned into the world of isolation and working from home, I was on my way to Brazil to meet most of the people that you see here on this screen. The Thursday before I was going to get on a flight, the trade show was canceled, and I have been in my home in upstate New York ever since. I think a lot of us, our worlds of travel and seeing wonders and being out and about has shrunken to a much smaller space. So I think today we're going to have a wonderful glimpse into another culture to see how they are dealing with these unprecedented times. And through that journey, I hope we all learn a little bit more about Brazilian design. Ana Claudia and I are here in the Hudson Valley, and she, also from Brazil, will be moderating today. My satellite Wi-Fi is rather crippling, so I am going to sign off and turn this over to Ana Claudia. She will introduce you to the panel, and I hope everyone has a wonderful journey to Brazil. Thank you very much.
So my name is Ana Claudia Schultz. I'm an interior designer, also here in the Hudson Valley, but I was born in Brazil, and I have been living in the States since I was 7 years old, so I am more American. So I'm really, really interested in hearing what the panel has to say today about Brazilian design. So I'm going to start with giving a bio about each of the panelists, and then we will take it from there. So Andrea Macruz holds a BA and degree in architecture from the Universidade Presbiteriana Mackenzie in São Paulo, and a master's degree in biodigital architecture from the Universidade Internacional de Catalunya. Andrea has participated in international exhibitions such as the Architecture Beijing Biennale and the Salon Satellite at the Milan Furniture Fair. In 2010, she founded the architectural, interior, and product design studio, whose mission is to propose a greater connection between man and nature concerning the memory and the possibility of bringing natural patterns and elements into the home, especially of the Brazilian forests and biomes. Say hi, Andrea.
Hi, thank you to have me here. It's a really great pleasure to be here, Anna.
Wonderful. Next panelist is Guilherme Went. He's a product designer of graduate Universidade de Caxias do Sul, Brazil, former designer of the luxury tableware company Hiva, and co-founder of Went. On his debut, he received multiple design awards in Brazil and internationally, including the IF Design Award. Based in São Paulo since 2014, the 31-year-old designer worked with leading Brazilian design houses and served as art director of the furniture brand Decameron. In 2016, he was awarded Rising Talent by Maison Objet Americas, and in 2017, Rising Talent by Casa Vogue Design. Hi, Guilherme.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. So the next panelist is Guto Indio da Costa. Guto was born in Rio de Janeiro and graduated in industrial design from the Art Center College of Design. Today, he coordinates the design and transportation nucleus of Indio da Costa AUDT Architecture, Urbanism, Design, and Transportation, responsible for dozens of projects, many of which achieved great success and received several international awards. He is a member of the Advisory Board of Design of the State of Rio de Janeiro since 2006. He is a director and vice president of AB Design, co-founder of the Brazilian Center of Industrial Design, CBDI, and promoter of several exhibitions and design events. He was also the collaborator of Art Design magazine, where he used to contribute articles regularly. Hi, Guto.
Hello, Ana Claudia. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good to see you all.
Good to see you all. I actually love seeing all these Brazilian faces. The next person is Jader Almeida. Was born in the state of Santa Catarina, southern Brazil. At the age of 16, he had his first contact with the furniture industry working for a furniture factory, which began his involvement with the entire production process of furniture. He then worked for the company Lean Brasil, which was an experience that enabled him to great understanding of design and production techniques. Since 2004, he has developed unique products for Brazilian and foreign industries with his primary partner brand, Solos, from Santa Catarina. In 2013, joined the team of designers of the German brand Classicon, graduated in architecture from Assis Goose College with award-winning pieces in major national and international design competitions. Jader Almeida has gained increasing prominence and continues to improve his work with his participation in exhibitions, technical visits, and courses in several countries. He also works on architectural projects, commercial and residential, developed in his office in Florianópolis, Santa Catarina. Hi, Jader.
Hello, thank you for introducing.
My family lives in Santa Catarina, in Florianópolis.
Good place to be.
Roberta Rampazzo, noted for their simply and strong lines, her pieces are designed with an intention to being unique and timeless. Roberta Rampazzo believes that good design must have form, function, beauty, and emotion. In creating a piece, the designer always seeks elements that speak to the user on an emotional level. Aware of her role as a professional, she uses certified woods and other ecologically sustainable and good quality materials. Hi, Roberta.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to have some questions for each of the designer. And I'm going to, when I ask the question, I'm going to deviate to which designer to answer. First question, you know, historically Brazilian design made a tremendous mark in the design industry. I think a lot of people in the design industry know Lindenberg, Oscar Niemeyer, the Campana brothers. But in your words, Jader and Guilherme, what makes Brazilian design unique and different from the others, such as European brands and so forth? Jader, you want to start?
Good. I think basically the context is the big difference about each countries or each other. And when you talk about Oscar Niemeyer or Lina Bobardi, for example, we need to understand they are architects and they're doing their furniture for fit their space. The architecture buildings is different for example, for sure, Campana Brothers more artistical design, is more expression design. And in this way, I think it's big difference each other. Niemeyers are modernist people and Campana Brothers, different times, different approach. But the difference, in my opinion, about, for example, European or US design and Brazilian design is the file about technology, approach. It's about materials. That when we have a big technology to develop our furniture, our products, so everything we want to do, we need to be more clever, to more smart in different ways. And this, I think, is the difference because we develop some not mass production like in some countries. Our design is more handcraft, handmade. I think it's better, it's sensual, so many things different. I think it is free way to understand and develop products. I think it's not big different, but one of different among others.
I totally agree with Jader. I think the context is very different. I think Brazilian design was known by the materials, mainly the different stones and wood. But what is the most is this casualness. I think it started with Oscar Niemeyer and then was expressed in different ways. And I think it's very part of the Brazilian identity. Of course, all of the designers here are trying to make their own path and trying to be relevant on the market, on the global market, regardless from where we are from. But if I have to put one thing in common, I think it's this lifestyle that is so that is a little bit different for the tropical places, and this architecture that mixes indoors with outdoors. So the products we make are product of this contest. So I think that's what moves me the most and inspires me the most.
Wonderful.
But just one thing. For example, the iconic designs from Nehemiah, I think it's not heritage just for us, but for all the world. When you see the curves, the free about the lines, this is a big school for us. It's a strong school, it's strong roots, and this is ours. It's Brazil, it's that time where the world, like Europe, are devastated for the Second World War. Here born a new way of understand the space, how the people live in the houses, the free lines. I think this is a big difference and conduce till today our thinking about products or so developing furniture or anyway.
You guys touched just a little bit on wood, like materials, and this question is going to be for Roberta and Andrea. Wood, cane, concrete, those are some of like very common materials in Brazilian design. How are you using Brazilian materials today differently than in the past? Past designers have used it.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go.
I think when you think about Brazilian design materials, what comes in my mind is something like natural or handmade, and I love both. So I did some projects using Brazilian materials. I remember one project that I did in the north of Brazil. So I spent a week there doing a furniture collection with other designers, including Campana's brother. So it was a really nice project. I had the opportunity to stay this week with the different local people from different communities. So we did, I stayed these days creating and developing products with them using different laces and embroideries. That is something that is very typical from Brazil, but we are not using anymore. And what I noticed that the young generation, they don't want to do anymore because they are more worried about using mobile phone and this kind of thing. So it's really important for us to keep this alive. And what I did is the furniture, and I use the laces. What I try to do is put a touch of modern and luxury on the product. So I use golden threads with the traditional white cotton threads. So in the end, we had a really different products that was a good design. I mean, if it was very different from the traditional pieces of furniture or laces products. And I also work in another social project using Brazilian woods. Is a product made in Amazon. And actually I like to work with a social project. It's something that is important for me, not just for my brand, but for me as a person. And on this second project, it's almost the purpose is very similar to the same one, to the first one. So we want to enhance the income from this local community and also teach some design values for them. And what happens when they understand the importance of the forests they want to protect. So it's something that is really good. So I love to work with Brazilian materials. I think this is part of our role. And always when I have this opportunity, I do it. I had some great moments doing this.
Yeah, well, actually I love working.
Some things that.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Actually, I think Roberta said something really interesting, and I totally agree with what she said. Personally, I really love working with different materials. Guilherme said about Brazil having a lot of different stones, and we have here in Vitória a nice stone fair, which we participated for 2 years. So it's a great place to see natural stones. Also, I think that Brazil has a lot of bamboo. That's nice. We did some lamps with bamboo and paper with natural pigments used for the communities and indigenous tribe. So you have like kumaro, saffron, and indigo. They're super nice. And lately, I think I have been working with recycled and recyclable plastics, bioplastics for impression, 3D impression. So I think we have a lot of seaweeds, corn-based materials, fibers, wood that can be mixture to that, and it's very nice. Actually, this collection that we made went to the Milan Furniture Fair last year, and Projeto Raiz is a Sindimovis project that is organized by architects, and they put together this exhibition. And it was amazing because in the middle of the exhibition, a guy gave me the idea of inscribing this project in the José Norlandis competition now this year. So they were chosen finalists. They are there. It's a lovely opportunity that I had. So I think that's it.
Andrea, we'll continue with you and also have Guto be a part of this conversation. But we'll continue also how you were talking about some new materials and concepts. What are new materials and concepts that you're implementing in your designs today?
Okay, I would say responsive materials. So in our latest projects, me and the architect Marcus Farr, we developed our own material. So it's a kind of bimetal made of metal and paper and covered with thermochromic paint. And it reacts to heat. So when it achieves like 30 degrees, it changes color and shape. I think that these responsive materials are really interesting when you're working with emotion sensing devices that capture biodata. And then the material changes like in real time. I really like that. And according to the input that you provide. So according to emotion, stress level, and all those things. And also currently I'm doing a PhD in technology and architecture in Shanghai at Tongji University. And it's about biophilic design and technology. And I have been thinking a lot about it lately. So biophilia is kind of theory that claims that humans have an innate kind of sense of connections to nature. So nature reduces stress, improves cognition, and recovers attention. And recently neuroscience have been proving a lot of things, scientifically proving a lot of these theories. So I'm really into textures that are similar to the natural ones. And I'm liking the combination, for instance, of hard textures of a tree trunk with a soft texture of a lychee and this kind of contrasts. And I think that for that, Mata Atlântica, Amazon, and Cerrado is a really nice options that we have here in Brazil.
What's been inspiring me quite a lot recently are some experiments using ultra tensile concrete. It's a new kind of concrete where the steel structure is not needed. You mix some fibers into the concrete while it's still wet, and it gives enough structure so you can make very thin, very delicate profiles, which are very strong and can stand really in loads. So this opens up a complete new path for design, for shapes, for architecture. I've been playing a lot with ultra tensile concrete used for urban furniture, especially. It's quite a great material for urban furniture. Obviously, yes, in Brazil, we do have this wide variety of materials and sources from everywhere. So many different types of wood, so many different types of granites and marbles. such a rich country, such a resourceful country in the way we can choose raw material in so many ways. But I guess what's really striking my attention nowadays is the mix of technology and products. Due to IoT Internet of Things and the possibility of integration of technology into daily products, I think we're going through an incredible revolution, and we're going to have smart beds, smart chairs, smart tables, smart everything is going to be smart somehow. Computers are being embedded in every product, and I'm giving a lot of attention to that, and I'm experimenting a lot in different possibilities where technology and products are just put together, and I think it's going to be a very interesting change we're going to face in the next maybe 2, 3, 5 years. I think our children will be living in a world which is completely, and I think design will be terribly changed by the way technology will be merged into everyday products.
So this question is for Roberta and Guilherme. What is your design process? I know this is very personal, but within 2 minutes, can you let us know what your process usually is?
Roberta,
Do I start?
you start.
Okay, first depends who I'm designing for, because I design for my own company, it's Roberta Rampazzo, and I also design for different companies. So when I design for myself, I can be more creative or flexible, so I can choose the materials, I can choose the suppliers and the concept, so I'm more free. And so, and when I design for companies, usually we work with a brief. So, and also depends the material that company works. So if it's a sofa company or a stone company, so the production process is different. So usually you need to follow some rules, and you can not be so flexible on this. But usually it starts with an inspiration, and it can be anything, or from a day, it can be a trip, or if I go to a museum, to a restaurant. Actually, when I go to a restaurant, I pay attention on everything. I pay attention on the walls, on the furniture, armchair, salt shaker. I used to say that creative people don't stop working because we pay attention on everything. We are always thinking about something. And so, but after the first idea, I start to sketch on the paper. And then I go for, at the second stage, I go for software computers. And then I start to do like technical drawings and 3D visualization. And after this, you go for the prototype. That for me is the most interesting part, because you see the products getting alive. So it's very exciting moment for us, it's like having a child. And so that is basically it's like this, depends on the furniture and the project or the piece, what I'm doing, but basically it's like this.
For me, since we launched our own brand, we're trying to focus on a more lifestyle approach to design. I always thought furniture was so far away from the way people behave during the design process. So I tried to put it on my process. And so I started thinking about how someone would live with that object and how they would interact with the object. And then I start to try forms and textures and materials. And then I search for some factory that can work with me to develop the product. So we started in a very conceptual idea, almost as a scenography of some kind of lifestyle. So I'm very inspired by fashion and art and other forms of design that are more close to people than architecture or only design itself. Not that I don't like it, but I try to be as more personal as can get, trying to think about how people would sit, what kind of light they will have, and how the shapes can somehow relate with the people and this specific lifestyle we're trying to put to the world, to the brand. That's it.
So we're in a COVID world, and there's no ignoring it. Do you have design advice that can be implemented into our design process as designers for homes and businesses? This is for Guto and Jader.
Can I start to you, Guto, or me?
Go ahead, Jader.
So, thank you. I don't believe the things change a lot this time, because the human behavior, the people behavior keep the same. It's just a look around the world, around the cities in all the world. Everything keep the same. But I believe in the future, maybe materials can change. Because for today, the chair, keep a chair. The table, keep the same table before. And for sure, public space, because social distance is necessary, different approach. We realize a lot of ideas for keep the people inside a box, or some distance, or some devices to protect. But the shape of things, I can't understand yet, because it's just 6 months, and the behaviors or the changes is necessary more time to start, because the things is not so quick, it's more slowly. But for today, I am be aware and try to understand the feedback of the peoples, of the cities, of all the world, and maybe the next time introduce for little things, for move or change some great things, or change a material or technology or something this way. But in fact, I don't believe the objects will be change a lot.
Well, on the other hand, I think we're going through a huge change in the way we behave. I guess it's the biggest behavior change in humanity since World War II, I'd say. We're going through a change that's not, I agree with Jader, it's not yet, we're not yet able to measure how much we have changed, but for sure the world is changed after COVID. I see the way, I got 3 children, I see the way they study nowadays. One of them is 11 years old, and she's, okay, she struggled in the beginning, but now she's really eager and able to deal with all the different interfaces that her school has set up. I tell them different from ours, a complete different life from ours. They'll be able to study anywhere. I think there will be such a huge globalization. I think if we talked about globalization in the last 20 years, we will never imagine, we could never imagine how much is going to boom now, because everybody is a click away from everybody, and it became a usual habit, a known habit, a known technology. My father is 82, and he's using technology most of his day nowadays, and after this quarantine, and my children are also doing the same. I guess the virtual world will bring us an incredible, tremendous, as we've never seen before. In the beginning of the pandemic, I thought that spaces would be sharply redesigned. I was trying to think how could movie theaters be redesigned, airplane cabins be redesigned, shopping malls be redesigned. And in that sense, I may agree, Jader, maybe these public spaces will not suffer too much. They will probably remain quite similar from what they were before. But the way we live, the way we work, the way we live in our homes, this is completely changed. The borders between work and living are totally blurred. Home and office became a single thing. You'll be working at night in your home, or in your office, or doing both at the same time. Life has lost its private and professional borders. Everything became a big blur. You're a professional all day long. You're a person all day long. Personal and private and professional matters are now just one big agenda, where there used to be two separate ones. I think mobility, world mobility, will suffer major change. Airlines are always afraid of, have been always afraid of telecommunications. And it's incredible, the meeting we're doing right now wouldn't be imaginable a few years ago. But what I think is that this massive international global communication will boost airlines, will boost more than ever. People will be meeting more than ever. I think it's a complementary thing. The virtual world, which is now exploding, is going to help us also grow the real world. Let's say, I think virtual encounters are so many. We're able to deal with so many people now virtually, but that will eventually make us meet many more people than we used to before. That will make us travel a lot more. So I think it's certainly the biggest behavior change since World War II we're going through. And I think it's going to be incredible. In fact, I do pity, though, I think it's a pity that in such a global world we're living now, we've seen such an incredible collaboration for science. The virus is a challenge for science, and science has been working globally all together. Doctors and scientists have been sharing experiences from all over the world. The information we have on this virus so far, having only half a year of it, it's unbelievable, because the whole international community of doctors and scientists have been working together. It's a pity that governments have not done the same. It's really a pity to see how the epidemic has been treated as a national matter in every country, when I think the whole world should have been together on this. We would have profited a lot more from this moment if we would have been able to together. For the first time in my life, I see the whole world connected and focused on a single solution. Everybody's looking for a single solution, and everybody's trying to fight the same problem. So I think it's going to bring us remarkable changes in the next few years. The way we live, the way we work, the way we travel, the way we are connected to the whole world. I think our children's generation, they're going to be really global. And I mean, really global, much more than we have been. And I think the COVID has a major importance in that change.
Thank you so much. So moving to Brazilian design for Andrea, Guto, and Roberta, we'll start with Andrea. What do you think is the future of Brazilian design?
It's a hard question, Anna, but I guess I agree with Guto. I think that during my stay in Shanghai, I learned a lot about the latest technologies and how they are quickly evolving with AI, robots, and etc. And I think that, of of course, the designers have to embrace technology, but because it's global and not culturally related, I think that more than ever, we need to remember who we are and where we come from. So I think I can answer this question with talking a little bit about the meaning of Raiz project that I personally think is very nice. That means root, Raiz, in English. And I believe that the Brazilian design is heading towards that direction, kind of understanding our origins. For example, in this meeting, we have lots of designers with different point of views and approaches toward their work. But I think with something common, you know, like a kind of reflection about Brazil. And I think we have a lot of designers nowadays thinking about our cultural roots, like material process and design details, other kind of protecting and working with artisans and communities, other with process inspired by nature, Brazilian nature, or discarded materials, whatever. But I think that they are different approaches of the same subject, you know, and that's, I think it's the beauty of that. It's a very multicultural environment, just our country. So I think it's that. And it's very fun because otherwise it would be really boring.
Well, for me, first, I think it's hard to say anything about future because the COVID proved that we cannot predict too much future. But anyway, I think Brazilian, we don't have a big background in design history, but I think it's going to be a really big opportunity for us because we are a very emotional and warm people. And I think now what everyone is missing in this kind of, is this kind of thing, the eye contact, some happiness, some comfort, even like if you want to buy something for your house now, we're probably gonna, you go for natural materials like cotton or something handmade, that you feel more connected to the nature that we are missing now, because sometimes technology is too much. It's good to have both, but we need to feel comfortable at home. And so I think this is going to be a big trend for design, because we design for people, and we also, the design is always an expression of what's going on the society and how are we feeling. So I think we're gonna see this change in the future in our pieces of design or concept or art, fashion, and everything. So I think it's gonna be a big moment for Brazil now. We have amazing Brazilian designers and company. And the only thing I think would be good to have a bit of, I think we need to invest more in technology, and because we are not really good on this, but I think we can have the best of both, the handmade and this industrial. So I think we didn't have a big past, but I see a really bright future for Brazilian design.
Yeah, I agree with Roberta. The history of Brazilian design is mainly linked to furniture and to just a few names, very few names, in fact. Our generation is making a big change. What Brazilian architecture was in the 60s, I believe Brazilian design is now in the 2020s. Our generation is the first generation that has really brought design culture into the country. And I think we're doing a big change. So many companies have profited from a design change in the last few years in Brazil. So many brands have been born by design, have been enhanced by design, and Brazilian was able to create such a variety of designers. We are all so different somehow, from the Campanas brothers to our work, for instance. there's such a huge open universe, and there's so many other designers in between doing from the most handcrafted thing to the most industrial. I'm using ourselves as an opposite to the Campanas because they're very handcrafted and we are very industrial. So, but Brazil has shown so many shades and so many different possibilities of design. It's such a rich country in this sense because the culture has developed in such a wide way. And I do believe that the future of Brazilian design is really going to be brilliant, as Roberta says, because the basis we're leaving now for the next generation is completely different from the basis we have found. When I graduated as a designer, my grandfather would ask me, but what exactly is your profession? There was no design knowledge whatsoever in Brazil at that time.
Yeah.
And nowadays it has changed completely. It has changed completely. So my generation has really made a complete change in the way the Brazilian design is done, is perceived, is known. And I think it will make a complete change for the next generation. But one thing I'd like to remark, and this meeting here is a small example thing, is that we are very entrepreneurial. Brazilian design has become very entrepreneurial. Each of us has we all have our own brands. We have been working not only on the design of products, but we have also been building brands in Brazil. And the brands are owned by the designers and not by the companies or the manufacturers. And this is a big difference from what happens all over the world. Usually designers all over the world are hired by companies, and designers are service providers. In Brazil, the biggest change I can see, and I think it's a fantastic movement that we're going through, is the way designers are building their own brands and working on their own products. And industries are sometimes their partners, but not their. I believe that in the next 5 or 10 years, we will have built so many design brands in Brazil, and I hope that will be a great success. And I might even dare to say that in the future, Brazil might become the country of design, where so many Brazilian brands will become international and will be based on design totally. So let's hope.
Me too.
And speaking of international, how can an international buyer get Brazilian designs? This question is focused with Guilherme and Jader to answer. Guilherme, you could start.
Okay. So there are some specific Brazilian design galleries and stores in the US, but I have to say about my example, we started the brand just a few years ago, so it's very young, but we always desire to be a international and global brand, as Guto was saying. So now we were working with some local, I mean, in the US, showrooms and stores, and some websites too, to resell our products there, and trying to make the logistics as cost effective and fast as possible, because it's a big issue to buy Brazilian designs. So we're trying to have everything in stock in the US. We are already producing some of the products locally in the US. So if you buy in Brazil, you have them made in Brazil. Or if you buy them in the US, you have them made by US factories. So this is our strategy. I can say about all the market, but I think each one of us is searching for a way to make it happen, because the information is there. People look for us. I think all the designers here can say that, look for us trying to buy our products from all over the world. But as internet put us together, logistics still putting us apart. So that's the challenge. And that's how we're trying to figure it out.
So I think the same way the buyers can find European design, can find Brazilian design, like Google research, for example. Every day we receive a lot of contacts from the people around the world to curious about our products. For sure, it's not we have no traditional like European in terms of design or developing or something this way. But today the internet is like Guto said before, this movement, the word post-pandemic, put the people, push a little bit more the people from discover or look for another countries. Because for now, we have agreement from India for a big partner, because they said the pandemic bring another way to see or find another partners around the world. And he said, it's a big surprise, find something good in different parts of the world, not just Italy, for example. Because Italy, for sure, everyone knows it's so traditional in furniture making, for example, or designing everything. But at this time, the people stay tuned to understand what happened around the world. And it's important to mention, for example, the Raiz project, it's a good window for us. For example, in trade fairs or in the websites or platforms where the people can understand. Raiz project made a good spread out for Brazilian designers. And in this way, I think today, everyone staying home because it's difficult to travel or go into the trade fair in USA or in parts of the world, and the people try to find by internet, and this is good for us. And this is a positive part for Brazil, for example, because the people try to find different things around the world, not just traditional things. And I think that's a good thing for us. That's it.
To touch the point of going on the internet, don't forget to follow Raiz Project on Instagram so you can also see more designers, including the panelists today that are from Brazil. I just wanted to know if you guys have any last notes or thoughts that you feel like we covered today, but you feel is very important for us to discuss.
It's a question?
Is there anything that, any last notes or thoughts that you guys have that you feel wasn't covered today that you would just feel like you need to hear?
Sorry, the voice is really cracked.
Do you guys have any additional notes or thoughts to add to this discussion?
I think we are, it's a wide conversation. It's difficult, it's hard to explain complex sometimes point of view, but I think it's interesting. It is a wide discussion.
What I would say is I think we're gonna, like everyone noticed and said, we're gonna see a big difference in the world for the next few months. Hopefully not in 1 year. We are just waiting for the vaccine. But I think what you're gonna see here, more people looking for sustainable products, and it's something really important because sometimes they think it is just our role as a designer or as an industry, and I believe is everyone's role, because if you don't buy more sustainable products, if you don't pay attention of what are you buying, you need to we don't create a demand. So it's something that I think we need to pay attention in what are we buying, and yeah, we need to add some values to the products that we are buying. So I think this is going to be a big change in the future.
I think we need to wrap up. Andrew's back, but Andrew is muted. Andrew? Andrew, we can't hear you. No. Drink. Okay, so I think Andrew's trying to say we're going to wrap up. And thank you so much. And we really appreciate you taking the time today to introduce Brazilian design to us. And we're really happy to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to see you.